Consumer confidence in the United States housing market is at an all-time low, but is it justified? We'll cover that today in your August 2023 housing market update. What is going on, party people? Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to giving you this housing market update. In this video, we're going to cover for you what's going on in the national as well as our local housing markets and break that all down for you. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so as we mentioned in the opening of this video, consumer confidence in the housing market is at all-time lows. Fannie Mae does a study takes a survey where they basically ask Americans where they think home prices will go over the next 12 months. And if you look at the graphic, it basically breaks down how many US homeowners or how many US citizens think the home prices are going to go down over the next 12 months. And as you can see in the graphic, those levels are higher today than they were even after the Great Recession of 2008. We're at higher levels now than we were at 2010, 2011, only second to the projections on home value declines during the pandemic. Now, I am happy to report, as you'll see in this graphic, that number has gone down steadily over the year, where we started about 37%, now we're down to 25%. But the reality is that one in four Americans still thinks that home prices are going to decline over the next 12 months. So we want to break down some of the talking points of why we feel like a lot of people feel that way. So sorry to interrupt the video that you're watching, but if you would ever want a no hassle, no obligation market analysis to find out what your home is worth in today's market, or maybe you want to chat about the home selling process, or maybe even want to chat about the home buying process, feel free to call or text me at the number below, or you can email me at chris@elliottreteam.com. I'll let you get back to the video. So I heard a saying recently that facts shatter fear. And I think a lot of the fear that's in the marketplace is due to just kind of talking points that get repeated or a misunderstanding of the facts. So let's break it down. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about mortgage delinquencies. A lot of people have been talking about mortgage delinquencies going up. And hey, if we're seeing more and more mortgage delinquencies, that means we have less and less people that can afford to pay for their homes, and we're going to see more foreclosures, and therefore prices are going to come down. However, if we look at the graphic and we look at serious delinquencies, meaning people that are more than 3 months past due on their mortgage, you can see that those numbers have been dropping steadily since January of 2022. Next, we're going to look at foreclosures. And a lot of folks have been saying, yes, but foreclosures have been on the rise. And while that is true, I would encourage you to take that with a grain of salt or see it in the context of where we are historically. So if you look at the graphic, you will see that yes, foreclosures have been up over the last 2 years, but according to historical averages or kind of where we've been for the last 10, 20 years, we are at all-time lows. And second point there is, yes, foreclosures are up over the last 2 years, but we had a moratorium on foreclosures in 2020 and 2021 where literally banks were not allowed to foreclose. So yes, we're going to see a lot of those foreclosures that carried over into 2022 and 2023. And while we feel for those families that have been, kicked out of their home and foreclosed upon, the reality is there's a natural number of foreclosures that are going to happen every single year, and we're at historic lows right now. So the next talking point is that, hey, buyer demand must be down or must be drying up as interest rates have risen and can seemingly continue to rise. And it's very interesting when I talk with folks about the real estate market, when I talk with homeowners, when I talk with buyers, they speak to it as if they already know that buyer demand has dried up. And honestly, that has certainly not been the case, especially in our Metro Richmond market. So as you'll see in this graphic, since March of 2020, basically when the pandemic began, homes in Metro Richmond on median have been selling for 100% over asking price since March of 2020. So it's fluctuated up and down, but we have not dipped below 100% of asking price that sellers are getting on median. Also since March of 2020, the days on the market, basically how long it takes between when we list a property and when it goes under contract, that median has not exceeded 10 days, meaning that homeowners on median have not had to keep their properties on the market for more than 10 days. And last but not least, with regard to interest rates, Fannie Mae, National Association of Realtors, and the Mortgage Bankers Association, 3 very accredited bodies, have all predicted that we are going to see mortgage rates drop by the end of the year and continue to drop throughout 2024, which we predict will increase the amount of demand both from buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for a more favorable interest rate, and also home sellers that are also buyers that are reluctant to walk away from, say, a 3% interest rate and don't want to feel, silly for walking away from that rate. But when they see interest rates drop, they'll say, hey, you know what, it's time to go ahead and move. So we expect that as we see interest rates come down, we're going to see more and more buyers enter the marketplace. So for my super negative Nancy's out there, you must be saying, hey, if foreclosures are not coming, if buyer demand isn't failing, then the only other way for prices to go down is for inventory to swell up, for inventory to just rise precipitously. Well, if we look at the numbers from our Metro Richmond market, we will see that the year-to-date inventory that we are experiencing this year, this graphic actually shows you the year-to-date inventory over the last 3 years. And what you'll see is that we are currently down in Metro Richmond 20% from where we were in 2022. And at this time in 2022, we were down 13% from where we were in 2021. So we are seeing historically low amounts of inventory on the market. And this has resulted in a deep, deep seller's market. So the graphic you're seeing right now is month supply of inventory over the last 10 years in Metro Richmond, which month supply of inventory is just a simple number that we track that basically is a good indicator of whether or not we're in a buyer's or a seller's market. The lower the number, the more we're in a seller's market. Anything below 6 months supply of inventory is considered a seller's market. So you will see we are way far down on that right now. So even if inventory were to swell up a little bit, that inventory would easily be absorbed by the demand that's in the marketplace. Saying that more inventory is going to make prices come down is kind of like saying at this point in the year that you can overwater your grass. You simply just can't do it. That lawn is going to soak up whatever water that you give it. Simply put, even if we see more inventory come to the market, we have a long way to go before we're in anything that would resemble a buyer's market. All right, so what does this all mean for you? So for my sellers and my prospective sellers out there, fear not. Despite what you might be hearing at the water cooler or on the Zoom chat in today's day and age, or what you might be hearing on the news networks, the actual facts, the actual data say that we are still in a very healthy seller's market, and especially in Metro Richmond, we're very much still in a seller's market. Secondly, back to school means back to house shopping. So one phenomenon that we see every single year is once the kids get out of school, once kind of summer starts, vacation starts, we see a little bit of a lull in the housing market, and then we see a little bit of a pickup in the month of September as folks are, back from vacation, the kids are back in school, folks don't have all the other distractions that they normally do in the summer, summer activities and whatnot, and a lot of buyers will refocus their search back, to housing if they weren't able to find their home in the spring or in the summer. And last but not least, you've picked up 40%. So I personally don't think house prices are going anywhere but up, but even if they were to come down a little bit, realize that over the last 3 years, US homeowners on average have picked up 40% appreciation, of course higher in other markets, but even if we give back 1 to 2 to 3%, maybe, probably not, you've still picked up 40%. You're still sitting in a very, very good position from an appreciation and equity standpoint. For my buyers, for my prospective buyers, realize that rates are temporary. So we have a lot of buyers right now that are saying, hey, I don't want to buy a home right now because rates are not favorable. And I would say in the context of history, rates are not a bad place. They're not what they were 2-3 years ago, but they're certainly not in a bad place. But realize that rates are temporary. As I shared with you, a lot of the smart people in the industry predict that rates are going to be coming down. And if rates do come down, you can always refinance to a lower rate. However, if the drop in rates causes prices to rise more precipitously, realize that you can only lock in price once. You only have one shot at price. So my recommendations, buy at the lower prices now and then refinance in the future if and when rates come down. As I already alluded to, more appreciation is on the way. So as rates come down, homes are going to continue to appreciate, and therefore you're going to be buying at cheaper rates, yes, but you're going to be buying at higher prices. And then last but not least, more competition is on the way. So if you think the housing market is competitive now, wait till rates drop to 6%, maybe even 5%, and a lot of buyers that are on the sidelines right now, either first-time home buyers or sellers that are also buyers, once they re-enter the marketplace, we're going to see a much more competitive real estate market than what we currently are experiencing right now. So that was it, guys. I hope you found that valuable. If you have any questions, comments, throw them in the comments, shoot me a DM. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next month.